The swimsuit industry has secrets, big ones, and brands are spending millions to make sure you never find out. Every price tag, every size label, every flattering rule, none of it is what it seems. You've been lied to, and it's costing you money, confidence, and way too many bad beach days. But today, that changes. Because in this video, we're exposing every swimsuit secret brands don't want you to know. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. This is the kind of knowledge that makes you a smarter shopper, a more confident woman, and someone who never gets played by a pretty price tag again. So if you're ready for the truth, stay right here, because it gets really good, really fast. And before we dive in, if nobody has told you this yet, let us be the first. You deserve a space where women actually look out for each other. That's exactly what this channel is. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because we're on a mission to reach 1,000 subscribers. And we want you to be part of this community from the very beginning. Topic 1. The price tag lie. There's something nobody tells you when you're standing in a dressing room, holding a $180 bikini, and wondering if it's really worth it. The tag says a fancy brand name, the packaging looks luxurious, and the salesperson swears it's premium quality. But here's what's actually going on behind the scenes. Most swimwear brands, from the ones you see at Target to the ones celebrities post about, source their fabrics from the same handful of factories in Asia and South America. The difference in cost? Almost nothing. The difference in price they charge you? Enormous. What most people don't realize is that the swimwear industry runs on one of the highest markups in fashion, and that number can easily hit 400%. That means a bikini that costs a brand $12 to produce lands on the shelf with a $90 price tag, wrapped in pretty tissue paper and a reusable bag to make you feel like you got something special. It's not about the fabric. It's not about the craftsmanship. It's about the story they sell you. And honestly, they've gotten really, really good at telling it. The branding, the photo shoot, the influencer wearing it on a beach in Tulum, that's what you're paying for. Now, this doesn't mean every affordable swimsuit is great, or that every expensive one is a scam. But it does mean the price tag alone tells you almost nothing about what you're actually getting. A $30 bikini from a smaller brand using quality nylon spandex blend can outlast a $150 designer piece that pills after 2 beach trips. The secret is knowing what to actually look for. And spoiler, it has nothing to do with the logo on the label. And that leads to something even more interesting about how these brands make sure you keep coming back to buy more. Topic 2. The flattering myth. Raise your hand if you've ever Googled best swimsuit for my body type and ended up in a rabbit hole of rules telling you what to hide, what to minimize, and what to balance out. Sound familiar? Here's the truth. Nobody in the fashion industry wants to admit out loud. Those rules weren't created by style experts trying to help you look and feel amazing. They were created by marketing teams trying to sell you more swimsuits. The whole apple, pear, hourglass body type system, a brilliant and very profitable invention designed to make every woman feel like she has a problem that needs solving. Think about it for a second. If every woman believed her body was already perfect for a bikini, she'd buy one swimsuit and move on with her life. But if she's convinced she needs a specific cut to hide her hips, a ruched top to disguise her belly, and high-waisted bottoms to elongate her legs, suddenly she needs 5 different pieces for 5 different occasions. That's not fashion advice. That's a sales funnel with a tan. The industry built an entire language around insecurity, and most women have been speaking it so long, they don't even realize it's not their own voice anymore. The most confident women on any beach aren't the ones who followed the rules perfectly. They're the ones who stopped listening to them altogether. Style is deeply personal, and the swimsuit that makes someone feel powerful isn't always the one a magazine said was right for her shape. A bold one piece can feel like armor. A tiny bikini can feel like freedom. The choice was never supposed to be about rules, and once a woman realizes that, something shifts. But there's another layer to this story, one that goes even deeper than body image, all the way into the actual fabric you're wearing. Topic 3. The fabric truth. Here's a question most women never think to ask when buying a swimsuit. What is this actually made of? Not the brand, not the color, not whether it comes in a cute matching cover-up, but the actual fabric, the composition, the way it's going to hold up after 20 beach days and 40 rinses in a chlorine pool. Because here's the thing, not all spandex is created equal, and the difference between a swimsuit that falls apart by August and one that still looks brand new next summer comes down to something most brands deliberately keep vague on their labels. They'd rather you just buy a new one next year. The gold standard in swimwear fabric is a high-percentage nylon spandex blend, ideally at least 80% nylon with 20% elastane. Nylon is more resistant to chlorine, sunscreen, and salt water than polyester, holds its color longer, and keeps its shape through real use. Brands like Speedo and Arena have used this blend for decades in their performance lines, and it's the same reason a $45 Speedo one-piece can outlast a $160 resort wear bikini that's mostly polyester with a designer name stitched on the side. When you're shopping, flip the tag and actually read it. If it says more than 50% polyester, put it back on the rack and keep walking. There's also something called UPF rating, ultraviolet protection factor, that most brands either ignore or inflate. A swimsuit with a real UPF 50+ rating blocks about 98% of UV rays, which matters enormously if you're spending long days in the sun. Look for fabrics that specifically advertise chlorine resistance and color fastness, because a suit that fades or stretches out after a few wears isn't saving you money. It's costing you more in the long run. And speaking of costing more than it should, wait until you hear what brands have been quietly doing with sizing for years. Topic 4. The sizing game. Has anyone ever tried on a swimsuit in their usual size? Had it fit terribly and immediately thought, I need to lose weight? That thought, that very specific, very painful thought, is not an accident. It's a feature, not a bug. The swimwear industry has one of the most inconsistent sizing systems in all of fashion, and the lack of standardization isn't a logistical oversight. It's a psychological strategy. When a woman tries on a medium that fits like a small, she doesn't blame the brand. She blames her body. And a woman who blames her body is a woman who keeps shopping, keeps trying, keeps buying. Here's how deep this rabbit hole goes. A study by the American Association of Textile Chemists and Colorists found that size labels across women's clothing brands can vary by up to 4 inches in actual measurements for the same labeled size. 4 inches. That means the medium at one brand is literally the large at another. And in swimwear, where fit is everything, that gap feels devastating in a dressing room. Some brands intentionally size their pieces smaller so that when a woman finally finds her size, she feels a little rush of victory, a psychological trick called vanity sizing in reverse, designed to create brand loyalty through emotional manipulation. It sounds cynical because it is. The smartest thing any woman can do before buying a swimsuit online, where most purchases happen now, is completely ignore the size label and go straight to the measurements chart. Hip measurement, waist measurement, bust measurement. Those numbers don't lie, even when the tag does. Brands like Andy Swim and Somersault have started offering more detailed fit guides and even quiz-based sizing tools, which is a step in the right direction. But until the industry standardizes sizing across the board, the best defense is knowing your actual measurements and treating size labels as nothing more than a suggestion. And if you think brands are playing games with sizing, just wait until you see what they're doing with the faces and bodies they pay to sell you those swimsuits. Topic 5. The influencer illusion. Picture this. You're scrolling through Instagram on a Tuesday night and there she is. A gorgeous woman on a white sand beach, golden hour light hitting perfectly, wearing a bikini that looks like it was made specifically for her body. The caption says something like, "Obsessed with this suit. It fits so well and makes me feel so confident," with a discount code at the bottom. And for a second, just a second, you think, maybe that could be me. Here's what that photo actually took. A professional photographer. 2 hours of shooting, 47 poses, strategic lighting, a specific angle that was held for exactly 3 seconds before it got uncomfortable, and a Facetune session that smoothed, stretched, and sculpted before anything hit your screen. The swimsuit didn't do that. The production did. What most people don't realize is that the influencer marketing industry is worth over $21 billion globally, and a huge chunk of that money flows directly through swimwear and fashion brands. A mid-size influencer with 200,000 followers can charge anywhere between $2,000 and $10,000 for a single sponsored post, and the FTC requires them to disclose paid partnerships. But the rules are loosely enforced and creatively avoided. Gifted doesn't always mean paid, but it still means the brand chose that person, styled that shoot, and approved that caption. The enthusiasm you're reading, it was negotiated in a contract. That doesn't make the influencer a villain. It makes the system worth understanding before it influences your next purchase. The good news is that a new wave of content creators is pushing back against this illusion. Women who show the same swimsuit on different body types, in real lighting, without editing, and with honest reviews that include the bad alongside the good. Creators like Remy Bader built entire platforms around this kind of radical swimwear honesty, and their audiences are fiercely loyal precisely because trust is so rare in this space. Before buying anything you saw on social media, search for that exact swimsuit followed by the word review on YouTube. Real women, real bodies, real lighting. It takes 3 extra minutes and can save a lot of money and disappointment. And once you know how to see through the illusion, you're finally ready to learn what actually makes a swimsuit worth every single penny. Topic 6. What actually works. After everything, the inflated prices, the body type myths, the fabric confusion, the sizing games, the influencer smoke and mirrors, it all comes down to this. What should a woman actually look for when buying a swimsuit? And the answer is refreshingly simple, but only if you know where to look. First thing to check, always, is the lining. A quality swimsuit should have a full double lining in the bottom and, ideally, in the top as well. Not that thin, see-through single layer that becomes basically invisible the moment it hits water. If you can hold the fabric up to the light and see your hand clearly through it, put it back. That single detail eliminates about 40% of bad swimsuit purchases immediately. Next comes construction, and this is where cheap suits reveal themselves fast. Run your fingers along the seams and check if they're flat, tight, and even. Look for reinforced stitching at stress points like the sides of the bottoms and the underwire channel if there is one. Adjustable straps and ties aren't just a style choice. They're a fit tool, and a swimsuit that offers real adjustability gives one piece the versatility of 3. Brands like Miracle Suit, Freya, and La Blanca consistently deliver on construction quality at mid-range price points, meaning you don't have to spend a fortune to get a suit that actually holds up. A well-constructed $65 swimsuit will always outperform a poorly made $200 one, every single time. Finally, and this might be the most important thing of all, the best swimsuit is the one that makes a woman feel something good when she puts it on. Not the one that follows the rules, not the one the algorithm pushed, not the one that was on sale. Fit, fabric, construction, those are the tools. Confidence is the goal. And confidence isn't built by hiding parts of yourself. It's built by showing up fully in whatever you're wearing. The women who look most radiant on any beach aren't the ones in the most expensive suits. They're the ones who stopped waiting to feel ready and just went swimming. And that, more than any brand secret, is the thing worth knowing. Conclusion. So here's the real question. How many times have you walked out of a store feeling like the problem was your body, when the whole time the problem was the industry? How much money have you spent chasing a standard that was invented to keep you spending more? The swimsuit secrets brands don't want you to know aren't complicated. They're just well hidden. But now you know. Now you can walk into any store, flip that tag, check that lining, ignore that size label, and make a choice that actually serves you. The power was never in the brand. It was always in the knowledge. So the real question isn't which swimsuit is right for your body. It's what else have you been believing that was never true to begin with? Think about that. Because the moment a woman stops buying into the myth is the moment she starts showing up fully. On the beach, in the mirror, and in her life. If this video opened your eyes, drop a in the comments and tell us, what was the biggest secret that surprised you the most? And if you're ready to keep learning, keep growing, and keep seeing through the noise, subscribe to this channel, turn on your notifications, and join the women who are done being played. We're building something real here, and we want you in it.